guys, it's Han. So today's video is a makeup tutorial on this look right here. I am feeling this look. So I basically sat down and in my mind I knew I wanted to do another double cut crease because I'm pre-filming this. I'm actually filming this at the end of November, but it's not going to go up until the end of December because I am filming a New Year's Eve look today. I wanted to do something really glam, really just like OTT. I wanted to have a lot of glitter going on. I wanted to do another double cut crease because my first one of these did really well and you all loved it. So I thought I'd do something similar but just a completely different take on it. Something that's a bit more like Christmas appropriate and like winter appropriate with the reds and the silvers. There's some glitter in the cut crease. I am so excited for this look. I love it so much. I really hope you guys like it as well. I am going to do it as a talk through and I'm going to try and talk through every single step as best as I can because I don't want anyone to look at this and think that it's intimidating or that it's going to be hard to do, because honestly it's just the sort of look that it's easy-ish to do. It's obviously not easy to do, but it just takes a lot of time, so please don't be like put off if you feel like this looks really intimidating and scary and hard to do, because I promise you it's not. I actually loved the fact that when I did my last double cut crease, so many people, like the most I've ever had, tweeted me and tagged me in their photos on Instagram of their recreations of it. I absolutely love that, so please feel free to do the same again because I love seeing your guys like recreations of my looks that I do. So I really hope you like it. Give it a massive thumbs up if you do. If you want to see how I got it, then just keep watching. And I realised I'm in like a dressing gown and also a choker that's like a diamond choker. I'll link this down below because I know a lot of people are going to ask about it. It's from Windsor Store, and like some diamond bralette on the go as well. Excuse my hands, are like really dark. Yikes. Yeah, I'll link all of this down below. Don't mind the fact that I'm just in a dressing gown and a diamond rhinestone choker. I feel like that just sums up me as a person. So yeah, I love you guys so much. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas because you will be watching this after Christmas, which is crazy to think about because it's not even December yet when I'm filming this. But yeah, I hope you had a lovely Christmas and got everything that you wanted. I hope you have a wonderful New Year's because I won't speak to you on this channel until 2017 now. So have an amazing New Year's Eve. Be safe. Have loads of fun. Yeah, I'm going to stop talking. I realise this intro has been so long. I love you. Let's go. Okay, so starting with eyes, I've already got them primed with some Soft Ochre by MAC. I'm now taking the Modern Renaissance palette by Anastasia, and I'm starting with the sort of medium brown, which is called Burnt Orange, I want to say, or maybe I've made that up. Anyway, we're going to start cutting the second crease. So the best way for me to explain this or like describe how to do it is to basically just mimic your actual crease but a step above your eye. So just copy the same shape as your natural crease. So mine is quite rounded, so I'm creating like the rounded shape. And then you want to flick it out towards the end. If you don't have like a naturally defined crease, then just make a second one above where you want your first one to be, if that makes sense, because I know not everyone has a really defined crease, so just create one where you think is about right. And then you want to start taking a blending brush. I'm using a 217 by MAC, and you want to start blending the edges. I started off with no product on the brush just to blend that initial line, and then I do add a little bit more of the product just to help blend it so we get a nice gradient effect, because that is what we are going for here. Even though a cut crease is quite structured and defined and sharp, you really want the edges to be nice and blurred and soft and blended as always. So yeah, just taking a little bit of time. This is what I meant when I said it's a time consuming look, because you honestly need to pick up the smallest amount of product, because the minute you go in with too much, it's really hard to blend out. So just take a bit at a time and you'll be absolutely fine. Then I'm mixing the two reds because we are creating quite a red cut crease today, seeing as this is for like Christmas and New Year's Eve time. So I'm just doing the exact same steps. So taking the small angled liner brush, I'll have all brushes linked down below, copying the same shape, so just going over it. And then again, I'm taking the blending brush. I'm not taking any of the reds yet just because they are very vibrant colours. The Anastasia shadows in particular are so pigmented, so I'm just using some of the burnt orange shade first, and then I'm going to go in with a little bit of the red as well. I do switch brush in a minute as well because the 217, it was too fluffy for what I was trying to do, and I felt like it was just distributing product where I didn't want it. So I do switch brush, as you can see here. I can't remember the name of this. I know it's by Sigma, but I'll have all brushes linked down below, just because it was more precise and dense, and the bristles weren't as fluffy, as you can see. So it's sort of blending it, but it's not putting product where I don't want it to be, because the issue with a fluffy brush is it just blends it all out quite not precisely quite, I don't really know what word I'm looking for, but it isn't very precise obviously, so I just wanted something a little bit more dense to keep everything where it was supposed to be. And then I'm taking a 224 with no product on it. This here is a really good trick just to lift your eyebrows. It just helps to stretch the skin and make sure that everything is nice and blended and smooth. And then we're going to go in with some concealer and clean up all of our mistakes. So don't worry if you weren't like sort of precise enough with this and you blended it quite far down. I'm just cleaning up with some Pro Longwear. You can use either a cream or a liquid concealer for this. I prefer a liquid just because I think it's easier to sort of maneuver and blend. And I'm using a little cute brush by MAC, which I can't remember the name of or the number of, but I will link it down below. You just want something quite little and precise, just to make sure you can get in all of the nooks and crannies. And this is a really good opportunity just to make sure that both sides are even in shape. So you can sort of go back in and keep looking in the mirror and making sure that both of them are even. And then for the actual wing, I'm using a liquid lipstick by MAC. If you have a red eyeliner, then obviously you can use that, but I don't have one, so I am just using a liquid lipstick because I have no issue using these on my eyes. Just doing the wing shape first, so you just want to follow the same sort of shape that we did with the eyeshadow. I'm starting out with the more sort of like darker one, but then I realized that it was a little bit too pinky for what I was going for, so I do switch back towards the lighter one, but I can't actually remember the names of either, so I will list them down below. I'm just using an angled liner brush again. This is by Sigma, and you basically want to start creating the second crease, like your actual lower crease. So I'm starting off with the wing just because I feel like this is the hardest bit, just making sure that is laid down, and I'm beginning to fill it in because the whole of the lid area will be red eventually. And then the way I like to do it is I start with the inner corner first, and I sort of position my head so that I'm looking down into the mirror, just so that I can see my exact crease. And again, if you don't have one, or if you don't have one that's very defined, then this is your opportunity just to create one where you want it to be. Just make sure that there's a nice amount of space between the upper and the lower one, just so you can fit some glitter in there later. And then I'm going back in with the deep red shadow from the Anastasia palette, and I'm placing that over the liquid lipstick just to set it, and then also to blend it into the shadow that we're about to use. I decided that I wanted the outer parts of the lid to be matte, so I'm using the dark red there, and then I wanted to use a shimmery eyeshadow in the center. So make sure you keep everything in the line. That is why we've done that sort of line there with the liquid lipstick. It just helps to keep everything in place and everything where you want it to be, and it's a nice guide for when you're doing your eyeshadow because it makes it so much easier. And then I'm taking a bit of Shadow Insurance by Too Faced and whipping out this cheeky little number. I'm obsessed with this eyeshadow. It's by Makeup Geek. It's one of the foiled ones. It's in the shade Curtain Call, and honestly, like, it's just so stunning. Like, if you need a vibrant shimmery red, then this right here is what you need. I did pair it with a more gold one as well, which I can't remember the name of, but I'll link it down below as always. I kind of wish I hadn't done this. I felt like I was just trying to do too many things at once, and I wish I'd just kept it red. I kind of wanted to add it so it would like pop and it'd be a little bit lighter in the center, and I don't mind it, but looking at it now, like, I wish I'd just done the red. So that's up to you if you want to do a bit of gold or not. And then we're doing the fun part. I'm just placing some Shadow Insurance down in the actual sort of space between the creases, and then I'm just patting some Inglot glitter, and again, I have no idea what this is, but I will list it down below. This worked perfectly because it's so finely milled that it didn't drop onto the lid or like ruin the eyes throughout the day, so I would definitely recommend it. I'm just patting it down with an angled brush like so, and I felt like this really just sort of completed the look and made it extra glam. Your eyes should then look something like this, and then we are nearly finished. I'm just finishing off with some some like black gel liner just on the upper lashes. I do this every single time that I do any eye look, no matter what it is, just because if I'm going to be wearing falsies, it just helps to mesh my natural lashes with my false ones. So I'm just popping some of that on, and then I did do false eyelashes off camera. I used the J Makeup by Lily Lashes just because they're my favourite ones. They're nice and fluttery and wispy, and they fit really nicely, and they're very comfortable to wear on the eyes in my opinion. I'm just cleaning up underneath because some of the shadow did fall down, but that is the perks of doing eyes first. It's nice and easy to clean up. Then I am using a bit of Nivea Men Post Shave Balm just as a primer. You guys know I love this. And then onto foundation, I am using the Makeup Forever Ultra HD Stick, which I know so many people get annoyed in the comments because I use this 24/7, but I can't help it. Like, nothing works as good with my skin. I promise I'm going to try and find something better in the new year though, or try and mix it up a little bit more. I'm just mixing it 2 shades because one's too dark and one is too pale, just because I've not got tons of fake tan on at the minute. It seems to sort of wear off on my neck and chest quite quickly. But yeah, just blending this all over the skin. patting it in so it has like a decent coverage. And then onto concealer, I'm using the Too Faced Born This Way in the shade Light and just popping this under the eyes. I do really love this concealer, but I feel like it can get a bit drying on me. Obviously I filmed this back in November, so recently I've not been using it as much, but it does have a beautiful coverage, sits really nicely, it doesn't crease, and yeah, like I said, it just covers really well. So popping that all over the skin and on at the high points as well, so on the forehead, nose, and also the chin, and then buffing it out with a beauty blender because that's my favourite way to do concealer, is to set it and blend it out with a damp sponge. Then I'm just patting it in, sort of like setting it, sorry, with some powder, and then also powdering the rest of my skin, ready for any powder products that we put on top. And then I'm pretty sure we go back onto eyes. Yeah, so I did my brows off camera just because you guys have seen me do those a million times, and then I'm finishing off the eyes, starting with the lighter shade that we used in the crease first, which was Burnt Orange from the Anastasia palette. I'm just blending this down at the lowest because again we want to have a nice gradient effect. I'm using the Real Techniques shading brush because I love this for lower lash line, like it's so good at blending but also keeping it where you want it to be. And then I'm just mixing in the two red shades, so the more bright red from the palette and also the deeper red as well, just to make sure that everything balances and matches the upper part of the eye. And then I'm highlighting the inner corner and the brow bone with the same highlighter that we're going to use on the skin. This is Urban Decay highlighter in the shade Sin, and yeah, just popping that in those two places. And then just finishing off with some red lip liner in the waterline, which is optional. Don't feel like you have to do this. I know some people don't like using lip liners on their waterline, but I know it works fine for me, and obviously I only ever use my products on it myself, so it's not particularly like unhygienic or anything like that. Then just finishing off with some lower lashes and back onto skin. I'm doing bronzer first, so I'm just using the Makeup Forever one and just applying this to all the sort of areas that I want to warm up the face a little bit. So the temples, blending it back into the hairline, and also the cheekbones and the jawline as well, which I didn't actually think I included for this. Nope. But yeah, just putting this on all the outer portions of the skin, and then using the highlighter, as I said, by Urban Decay. This is my favourite one to use when I'm not as like fake tanned as I usually am, because it is very intense. It reminds me a lot of Mary Lou, and I love it for when I've got less fake tan on and I'm a little bit fairer. It really does pop. Then we just need to do lips, so I'm just using Strip Down by MAC. I feel like, again, I use this all the time, so I'm so sorry, but I absolutely love it. Just lining my lips with that and sort of filling them in as well. I wanted to sort of include the full clip of this and speed it up so you can see how long it actually takes me to line my lips, because it's not a 5-minute job. My lips are really uneven as well, like one side is way less fuller than the other, so I have to spend extra time to make sure that both sides are even and they look symmetrical. I'm using Myth lipstick, which is an oldie but a goodie for me, and just popping this on the centre. It's very pale, and I did want a super nude lip because we've got so much going on the eyes that I wanted the concentration to be there. Then topping it off with Tom Ford lipstick in, I can't remember the name, but I'll link it down below. Again, it's really pale and really iridescent, so it looked beautiful as like a lip topper for the MAC lipstick in Myth. Just popping that on top and then finishing off with some gloss. So I'm using Too Faced Lip Injection because I wanted my lips to look nice and full and pouty, and this really does sort of it's very tingly, like it's one of the most tingly lip plumping products I own. It really sort of burns your lips at first, I'm not gonna lie, but it does do a really good job of just sort of enhancing them, making them look a little bit fuller. So popping that all over, and that is the finished look. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Give it a massive thumbs up if you did. Let me know in the comments what you're doing for New Year's, because I would love to know. Until then, that is everything. I love you so much. I love you to the moon and back, and I will see you in 2017. Bye!